Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 22 based on novel. So let's start. Luo Feng and the other universe masters followed Primal Chaos City leader and walked through the hallway. They could see boat of mausoleum floating in Thousand Treasures River in the space behind the palaces. Where are we going, brother? Asked Darkness Master. Even he didn't know about the guarding valuable left by Teacher Origin. Primal Chaos City leader looked back and said, let's get into boat of mausoleum. Even though this is the central area of Primal Secret Region, there are lots of universe masters from other races. I don't want the information leaked. Let's get into boat of mausoleum first so you all can see it. Luo Feng was curious. After a while, they entered boat of mausoleum, which was 100 billion kilometers long, floating on Thousand Treasures River. Boat of mausoleum is indeed exceptional. Primal Chaos City leader couldn't help complimenting it. Although it can't make attacks itself, it can easily resist the attacks from Universe Supreme Masters. Even Supreme True Treasures can't do that. With this boat, the last universe portal of our race can be safe. Darkness Master, Pengong Master, Longyang Master, and the others all nodded. Luo Feng smiled as well. It was true. Teacher Origin was suppressed eternally, so the universe portals from the original universe to the primal universe would be fewer and fewer if they were broken, and they couldn't be rebuilt. Even if there were Black Prison Tower and Star Tower, they would still be blasted away and couldn't protect that universe portal. However, boat of mausoleum was much more stable. Luo Feng was confident. In Universe Ocean, even those level 7 and level 8 universe supreme masters can't damage boat of mausoleum, not to mention those in the original universe. Boat of mausoleum was 100 billion kilometers long. The universe portal was well protected in a huge room in the boat, making it absolutely safe. In a palace of boat of mausoleum, the human universe masters all gathered. Primal Chaos City leader smiled. I'll show you here. Luo Feng and the universe masters were all looking forward to what Primal Chaos City leader was about to show them. It was a guarding valuable left by Teacher, so it must have been exceptional. Look at it. Primal Chaos City leader glanced at all the universe masters and stretched out his palm. They all stared at the palm of Primal Chaos City leader. Suddenly, an object appeared in his palm, and the force of a true treasure permeated from it. Everyone looked bewildered. This is, Luo Feng opened his eyes wide. Huh? Pengong Master was confused. What is this? Darkness Master was confused as well. An object like a sculpture sat in the right palm of Primal Chaos City leader. There was an artificial hill, a lake, and a wooden house. The hill, the water, and the house seemed to coexist in harmony, but it appeared to be just a piece of art. The force was ordinary, although it had the force of a true treasure. It was, at most, top-tier true treasure. If it was indeed a supreme true treasure, the force should be suppressing. Luo Feng couldn't help looking at Primal Chaos City leader. Teacher? The others looked at Primal Chaos City leader, confused. What is this, Chaos? Is this the guarding valuable left by Teacher Origin? No, this is definitely not a supreme true treasure. How can it guard the race? Primal Chaos City leader glanced at Luo Feng and the universe masters with a smile, then said, I need to infuse it with my godly power before you know the power of this valuable. Godly power burned in his palm, and it infused the valuable immediately. The valuable floated and became much larger. Then a mountain 10,000 kilometers tall showed up in the palace. On the mountainside was a wooden house 100 kilometers tall, and there was a lake with a diameter of 1,000 kilometers in front of the wooden house. Come, said Primal Chaos City leader, and he shrank his body to 10 kilometers tall. The others shrank their godly bodies as well. They followed Primal Chaos City leader and walked along the lake to the wooden house. Chaos, what about the power of this valuable? Pengong Master asked. I haven't triggered the engravings yet, said Primal Chaos City leader. Of course, it can't wield the power. He stood beside the lake, and suddenly, a being showed up. It was a barefoot body carrying a rugged stick. A body? Luo Feng was shocked. This is a complicated valuable, said Primal Chaos City leader. Both me and this body of mine need to work together to have enough godly power to drive this valuable. The barefoot body walked to the mountain. It merged with the mountain as soon as it touched it. Primal Chaos City leader stepped out onto the lake and walked to the center of it. Mountains started to tremble under powerful ripples, and blurry engravings appeared, flashing across space. A green hue extended from the mountain to the sky, covering the sky above it. The lake and the ground trembled. The blurry engravings flowed and disappeared. The ground extended, forming a grey tract of land. The green sky and the grey land met at that wooden house. The wooden house started to gleam brightly. Light covered every inch of the sky and land, and the green sky and grey land kept intersecting with each other, exerting power, forming endless light. Beneath it, Luo Feng, Darkness Master, Longyang Master, and the others were all amazed. They could feel an enormous source of power. So powerful. My teacher devoted a lot to create this valuable. Primal Chaos City leader stood on the lake and recalled events from the past. The mountains, the lands, the lakes, and the wooden houses are formed by 36,200 components. The materials are exquisite, yet the techniques are simple. Only after they are combined can they be structured. Mountains, lakes, and wooden houses, these three elements form this sky and land. Teacher said before that this is the primal rule of universe operation. This valuable is called Palm Universe. It's a simplified version of a miniature universe. The Palm Universe can create 2 top-tier level 6 attacks immediately in the area it controls. Plus, it covers an area of 1 square light year. Everyone was stupefied. This was more incredible than a domain-type Supreme True Treasure. Ordinary domain Supreme True Treasures could attack within their domains, but Universe Masters couldn't make attacks at top-tier level 6 when using them. After all, domain True Treasures were used more often for suppression. Only Universe Supreme Masters could use their techniques to make the True Treasures reach top-tier level 6, and only one at a time. However, Primal Chaos City leader could perform it twice as if 2 Universe Supreme Masters were making attacks. And they could appear anywhere within the range. This is a simplified miniature universe, said Primal Chaos City leader. Once someone is in this area, it's like being in a miniature universe. I control it. I can attack the target with a single thought. I can even make Universe Supreme Masters feel agonizing pain, and they can't get away from this area in a short time. However, this Palm Universe can only reach top-tier level 6 even in Universe Ocean, so it's more useful in the original universe. Teacher Origin made it to guard our race, and with this valuable, even 2 or 3 Universe Supreme Masters will suffer losses if they try to attack us. Teacher Origin could only create a top-tier true treasure, but when he combined all the true treasures, he had a valuable that was beyond imagination. Darkness Master, Longyang Master, Huangjian Master, and the Universe Masters were all dazed. He had made a valuable better than a Domain Supreme True Treasure. Of course, it was weaker than a Domain Supreme True Treasure in Universe Ocean. Machine type. Luo Feng was shocked. This is machine type. The small components form 3 systems, like Shawu Wing. Shawu Wing is also made of lots of components. A pair of white wings, 5 pairs of other wings, and an origin. This Palm Universe is also made of different components, and the core is that wooden house. It's even more complicated than Shawu Wing. Luo Feng exclaimed. Of course, Palm Universe was still a low-tier machine-type valuable. The civilization level of the origin was far superior to Palm Universe. However, in terms of structure, Shawu Wing was very simple, while Palm Universe was far more complicated. It needed both bodies of Primal Chaos City leader to use it. However, it was still much simpler than Boat of Mausoleum and Universe Boat. One thing was for certain, this was of machine type, which was why it had such an ordinary appearance but extraordinary power. It had power at top-tier level 6. One is the sky, one is the land, and one is the heart of sky and land, said Pengong Master slowly. Dark, light, and the origin, said Darkness Master. All the Universe Masters looked at the simplified universe, as did Luo Feng. Although it was machine type, the technique contained in the Palm Universe had universe operation law, and it was much more advanced than his miniature universe. Time and space combined, and a universe is born. Luo Feng looked at the sky and land, the green sky, the grey land, and the gleaming, golden light, all of which contained the universe operation law. He was mesmerized. After hitting the limit universe night level, he couldn't make the breakthrough. However, inspiration now flooded his mind. Luo Feng looked up, and he smiled. The mountain range, lake, and wooden house were all suspended in the air. With it as the center, everything within the vast space and spread around its surroundings fell within its area of control. This mountain, lake, and wooden house. The greatest area under the influence of its control was a diameter as wide as 1 light year. How vast this region was! And within this region, a single thought could execute the power of a sixth tier as the top level. The various universe masters were all in awe. Impressive. Simply too impressive. In the primal universe, it is even more powerful than a supreme true treasure. The only downside of it is that controlling it is a tad more complex. It requires both bodies of primal chaos city leader to control it together. A simplified miniature universe? How did Teacher Origin achieve that? I cannot fathom it. I simply cannot fathom any of it. Indeed, that's Teacher Origin for you. Only Teacher Origin can create a virtual universe which has reached a stupefying level on the way the universe revolves. I suppose this must be the reason why he can create this unique treasure, Palm Universe. The part of time and space that was under the influence of this Palm Universe was completely isolated from the outside world. All the universe masters were shocked yet intoxicated by what they saw. Luo Feng. Luo Feng? Suddenly, someone realized that there was something not quite right with Luo Feng. Earlier, he was still smiling, but later, he shut his eyes and his entire being started to exude a strange aura. Do not disturb Luo Feng. Darkness Master immediately shouted to stop the others. Within the human race, the majority were not aware that Luo Feng was merely a universe knight. But Darkness Master knew. Could it be that he was going to achieve a breakthrough soon? Darkness Master wondered to himself. Not only him, Primal Chaos City Leader, who was standing above a lake quite a distance away, also saw the seemingly unique state that Luo Feng was in. In his heart, he could not help looking forward with much eagerness. This disciple of mine is going to have a breakthrough soon. Luo Feng was already capable of creating secret techniques at a Universe Supreme Master level, and his law comprehension had already reached the ultimate limit of its bottleneck, whereby he had comprehended Heart of Beast God long ago. He could be said to have met the various expectations, and his avatar was consistently cultivating in a cultivation space within the space of inheritance. With a rate of 10,000 times of time velocity, he had been cultivating for many years. What Luo Feng had accumulated was more than abundant. So even if he was slower, upon enduring a few more years in the outside world, he would be able to break through, that was for sure. If he was fast, the breakthrough could be any time. This breakthrough. It could occur at a time when he was getting emotional or feeling touched or just looking at the revolving, starlit sky or even in a life or death battle. In short, no one knew when it would happen because at any point in time, with a little touch of his gifted talent, he might be enlightened and thus be able to achieve the breakthrough. Palm Universe was a unique treasure. Luo Feng could not comprehend Shawu Wings and the Boat of Mausoleum because they were both too profound. However, Palm Universe was very close by. Since he could create a secret technique at a Universe Supreme Master level, and what this Palm Universe contained was also at the ultimate limit of a Universe Supreme Master, Luo Feng could, therefore, vaguely comprehend it. Just one touch of this Palm Universe, and the bottleneck that he was stuck at for so long seemed to disappear soundlessly. He had, thus, broken through this bottleneck. Luo Feng suddenly opened his eyes. Teacher? Primal Chaos City Leader looked over. Teacher and disciple exchanged glances, and mutual understanding traversed the space between them. The look of excitement on Primal Chaos City Leader's face was hard to conceal. This disciple of his was beyond formidable. Even though he had yet to achieve his breakthrough, he was already so powerful. Once he achieved his breakthrough, he would be a great help in the final battle that was drawing close. I will first make a trip out, Luo Feng said. Go? Primal Chaos City Leader nodded. At the same time, he stopped the execution of Palm Universe right away for Luo Feng to exit. With a single teleportation, Luo Feng disappeared wordlessly. Luo Feng's god country was so endlessly vast that it could be described as inexhaustible. The endless remote ocean was always filled with ripples, and even without any wind, it had waves that rose up to 3 feet high. This endless remote ocean stretched over a diameter of 80 billion kilometers. It was deep and vast, and its normal waves were so big that they were astounding. With this endless remote ocean, together with the additional support from his god country, even if other Universe Supreme Masters were to barge their way in, they would be in for a great loss. The god country that was originally peaceful underwent a change. Just as Luo Feng broke through the bottleneck while he was inside the Boat of Mausoleum, the origin laws of the primal universe fell right away. An endless oppressive force enveloped the entire god country. The endless remote ocean that was originally considerably peaceful was suddenly surging with mighty waves. Amidst the endless remote ocean, a figure suddenly emerged. This was Remote Ocean Body. It was looking up into the sky where immeasurably huge, black and white whirlpools were appearing. These rotating whirlpools were enormous and they carried with them an inexhaustible amount of power. Upon discovering his breakthrough, Luo Feng destroyed his previous remote ocean body and bred a new one right away. It was the fastest method to get back to God Country. Breakthrough. Luo Feng's remote ocean body teleported out into the sky beyond the edge of the entire remote ocean in a flash. This tremendous momentum is so imposing. Luo Feng looked up into the sky to see that huge whirlpool which had a diameter greater than tens of billions of kilometers. This was different from the previous five-colored whirlpool that had appeared when he achieved his breakthrough to become a universe knight. This time it was composed of alternating black and white ones. Within a large black whirlpool, there was a white one, and within this white one, there was another black one. Black whirlpool, then white whirlpool. Black whirlpool, then white whirlpool. Round after round. While exuding a formidable oppressive force, there was a passageway at the center of this huge whirlpool. It was the link between the universe Luo Ocean and Luo Feng's God Country. The critical moment. Luo Feng suddenly understood what was happening. It was the most critical moment of his breakthrough, the swallowing of godly power. The endless remote ocean was massive. To increase his godly power, he would need a long time. And the bigger his godly body, the stronger the ability to recover. Even if a universe master were to self-destruct suddenly, the speed at which his godly power was consumed during this instant self-destruction was nothing compared to the speed of auto-recovery of remote ocean. The greater the volume, the greater the power. As a result, the speed of recovery would be even more alarming. This was why the endless remote ocean progressed at a very slow pace during its initial stage of growth. For its diameter to double from 10 billion kilometers to 20 billion kilometers, a long time was required. For the diameter to expand from 20 billion kilometers to 80 billion kilometers, it would be much faster. But when the latter was compared to the speed attainable in future expansions, it was still considered to be much slower. Further down the road, the speed would soar to a figure that was exponentially faster. That was how Nine Remoteness Master had been able to create that massive Nine Remoteness Ocean. Luo Feng was about to become a universe master. His endless remote ocean was still far inferior to Nine Remoteness Ocean. Therefore, Luo Feng would cherish this opportunity even more. The time for swallowing godly power is limited, Luo Feng said to himself. The swallowing must occur at the most efficient rate possible. From the alternating black and white circles that were intertwined at the center of the whirlpool, that whirlpool passageway with a diameter of few tens of billions of kilometers, was pouring out ocean water that was empowered by a formidable godly power. Torrential ocean waters surged out in a frenzied manner. Like an ocean collapsing, the water poured out at a speed so fast that it was simply terrifying. Compared to when Luo Feng achieved a breakthrough to become a universe knight, everything was much faster this time around. Inhale, suck, absorb. Luo Feng used his willpower to the best of his ability and tried hard to control his endless remote ocean. He was absorbing like crazy, and the transformation took place immediately. His godly power that was originally 10,000 times the life genes of Night soared up 100 times to hit a godly level of 10,000 times life genes, a universe master level. Swallow, then transform. The rate at which that whirlpool passageway was pouring out godly power empowered the ocean water totally in sync with the rate at which Luo Feng's endless remote ocean absorbed it. The faster he absorbed, the faster the pouring of ocean water would be. Transform. 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 Luo Feng was doing his best to keep everything, and he also noticed that after his willpower got stronger, it brought him more benefits. The powerful willpower also greatly increased the efficiency of the transformation happening under his control. But no matter how great the increase was, it was still not enough. A moment later, peace and quiet resumed in the God Country. The oppressive force of the primal universe origin laws was gone, and for a short moment, Luo Feng could swallow godly power to his heart's content. My endless remote ocean has a diameter of 80 billion kilometers. Luo Feng stood in the sky above the remote ocean. Just a while ago, the godly power transformed reached around 15% of the size of my endless remote ocean. Luo Feng estimated that the entire remote ocean must have had an approximate diameter of 80 billion kilometers, of which more than 40 billion kilometers along its whole diameter was successfully transformed. That was approximately 15% of its entirety. In terms of efficiency, this rate was considered high. After all, the endless remote ocean was massive. When I became a universe knight previously, the rate of transformation was 12%. This time around, the rate has increased a little. I was lucky that my willpower also reached a breakthrough point. If my willpower had not reached the level of a Universe Supreme Master, I'm afraid the transformation of godly power this time around would have been far lesser. Luo Feng continued his descent. He sank down into the endless remote ocean, where his body naturally fell apart and blended into the remote ocean. Soon, a new remote ocean body was formed within the endless remote ocean. This remote ocean body was a lofty figure that was close to 10,000 kilometers tall. Its godly power was 1,000 times that of a Universe Master Life Gene level, and it was also 10 times higher than the godly power of Luo Feng himself when he was still at the Universe Night level. The entire endless remote ocean was still resonating with the faraway universe origin Luo Ocean, absorbing its godly power and trying hard to transform the entire remote ocean. The only pity was that now, the speed had slowed down considerably compared to before. 3 light rays appeared at the same time within his god country and transformed into 3 streaks of light high up in the sky. They flew about freely. Bouts of godly power rapidly shot out from the remote ocean below to quickly envelop the 3 godly bodies within their influence. These 3 godly bodies were none other than the original Earthling body, Golden Horned Beast body, and Mosha body. In an instant, the 3 godly bodies started to transform. The original Earthling body and Golden Horned Beast body's godly powers soared to 100 times, reaching a godly power level of 10,000 times that of a Universe Master Life Gene. Mosha body's godly power also soared by 100 times, reaching a godly power level of 100 times that of a Universe Master Life Gene. My Mosha body, in terms of godly power, is comparable to my previous original body. The original Earthling body, Golden Horned Beast body, Mosha body, and Remote Ocean body were all full of fighting spirit. His original Earthling body and Golden Horned Beast body, with their pinnacle true treasure in hand, could both display an outburst of combat power up to the 6th tier as the top level. Mosha body, with its Blood Ghost blade, would also be able to display an outburst of combat power up to the 6th tier. Remote Ocean body was equipped with even more methods. Now, I have to address 2 things. For different bodies of Luo Feng flew to the core of his god country. At the public square before his godly palace, the 4 bodies found scattered spots to settle down, where Golden Horned Beast body lay sprawled on the ground. The first thing will be my Mosha body, Luo Feng whispered. After becoming a Universe Master, the bottleneck of 100 times life genes will no longer be imposed on my Mosha body, which means I can bring the increase to as high as 1,000 times life level, or even 10,000 times of life level. Regarding the materials required to increase the life genes, I have already prepared them all. His Mosha body was not a flesh and blood life form, so it could not cultivate the 9-volume manual. Just like any ordinary Universe Master, it had to reach the level of a Universe Master before its current 100 times life gene level could increase further. The second thing will be my god country. If I achieve a breakthrough to become a Universe Master, my god country will become even more complete. Luo Feng looked at his own vast god country. At that moment, his god country was slowly transforming. The expansion of its area was secondary. More importantly, the structure was beginning to stabilize toward an ultimate limit. Once the perfect transformation was completed this time around, the next breakthrough would be that of his god country's miniature universe, which meant that this time, it was already the ultimate level of his god country. Human Territory, Primal Secret Region. Freedom Alliance. Ancestral God School, Space Beast Alliance, Lone Universe Supreme Masters. Primal Chaos City leaders stood against the railing and looked at Thousand Treasures River. They are all waiting for our response, and they want to know more information about how to become a Universe Supreme Master and a Limit Universe Supreme Master. If we actually give them that, the inheritance of the ancient civilization will be widespread. Then all the powers will know about it. Why did Luo Feng even strive for it in the first place? It was indeed difficult for Primal Chaos City leader. The inheritance of ancient civilization was divided into 2 parts. The first part was to cultivate the weaker beings into Universe Masters more efficiently, and the second part was to cultivate Universe Masters into Universe Supreme Masters or even limit Universe Supreme Masters. The powers wanted the second part. However, humans needed territories to boom, so it would be good for the humans if they had hundreds of Universe Masters. If they didn't have enough territories, 100 was a good amount. There were already around 1,000 Universe Masters from other powers, and once they had the inheritance, there would be more and more Universe Supreme Masters. Some might even become as powerful as Teacher Origin. Then the inheritance would make no difference to the humans. In that case, other races would reap the benefits. We might as well just fight them. Don't even think about getting the inheritance, not even a little bit, thought Primal Chaos City leader. Even if we go back to the primal universe, Luo Feng will have much more power after becoming a universe master. All his bodies have power at top tier level 6, and that so-called alliance won't be together forever. Luo Feng's 4 bodies, Peng Gong, Darkness, and me. We can totally make the humans great again. We'll only be weak for a while. Then we'll thrive again. Just as Primal Chaos City leader was thinking, being walked down the hallway. He wore a white cape, which made Primal Chaos City leader's eyes gleam. Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City leader said. Teacher? The man in the distance looked up, took a step, and walked beside Primal Chaos City leader. Primal Chaos City leader looked at Luo Feng and nodded contently. Breakthrough, he asked. Luo Feng had a smile on his face. Yes. He was indeed happy. Both his original Earthling body and Golden Horned Beast body had reached the limit godly power of a Universe Master. Even Universe Supreme Masters couldn't wield power greater than him in Universe Ocean, which meant these 2 bodies were not weaker than anyone. As for Moshe body, its life gene level had reached more than 3,000 times, and his godly body was 10,000 kilometers tall. However, it was difficult for Moshe body to reach the perfect life gene level now. After all, Moshe body needed many precious valuables to improve its life gene level, but it didn't have much in storage. However, a life gene level at more than 3,000 times had already made Moshe body incredibly powerful. Remote Ocean body was the weakest at 1,000 times of life gene level but was still much stronger than before. For what was worth, they were all able to wield power at top tier level 6 in the original universe. In Universe Ocean, Luo Feng was much stronger, especially with his technique, Duan Mia, which meant Luo Feng already stood among the top tier beings both in the original universe and Universe Ocean. Even if he was weaker in laws, he could make up for it with his Blood Shadow Blade and Duan Mia, the technique left by the 3 ancestral teachers. Fantastic. Primal Chaos City leader nodded. Wonderful. Teacher, I can tell you're worried. Is it about the upcoming final war? Asked Luo Feng. Primal Chaos City leader sighed. How could I not be worried? The Freedom Alliance formed so suddenly and already has much more bargaining power. They are waiting for our response. The Ancestral God School, the Space Beast Alliance, and the Lone Universe Supreme Masters have all come to us and named their terms, and are waiting for our response. What do you want to do, teacher? Asked Luo Feng. If we say yes to them and give them all the inheritance, they'll be the ones who gain the most, so what would be the point of us going through all this effort? We might as well just fight them, and if we lose, we'll just return to the primal universe. If anyone dares to destroy the human territory, we'll destroy their territory with boat of Mausoleum as well. It's better to give them all the inheritance. Luo Feng nodded and said, Teacher, I have an idea. An idea? Primal Chaos City leader gazed at Luo Feng. Teacher, I've become much stronger after becoming a universe master, especially my remote ocean body. Luo Feng started to elaborate on his plan, and Primal Chaos City leader's eyes gleamed as he listened. After a while, Luo Feng finished describing his idea. Primal Chaos City leader was still anxious. That would be much better, he said. However, can your remote ocean body actually resist it? Don't worry, teacher. If we really need to consume our godly power, that'll be my biggest advantage. Even if they consume all their godly power, my remote ocean body will still have left, said Luo Feng confidently. As for other factors, I haven't taken them into account yet, but I have Star Tower, so I believe I can perform it. Primal Chaos City leader was still frowning and worried. Luo Feng's plan was too crazy. He could die? No need to rush it. We need to test it first, said Primal Chaos City leader. We'll test it first. If you think it's okay, we'll implement it. In Primal Chaos City leader's mind, he had the best chance to become a Universe Supreme Master, followed by Luo Feng. And Luo Feng was the only inheritor of Duan Dong River inheritance, so he might have had a better chance to transcend incarnations in the future. He couldn't put Luo Feng's life in danger, even if that meant retreating back to the primal universe. Okay, let's test it first. I'll call the other Universe Masters. Primal Chaos City leader nodded. All the Universe Masters from the human team gathered on the same day. There were over 100 Universe Masters there, and they took part in the test. Afterward, Primal Chaos City leader went to talk to Teacher Origin, and he confirmed with Luo Feng again. Great. We've tested it, you're confident enough, and Teacher Origin thinks it's a good idea. Primal Chaos City leader nodded. His eyes were gleaming. These days, the Ancestral God School, the Space Beast Alliance, the Lone Universe Supreme Masters, and the Freedom Alliance are being too greedy, especially the Freedom Alliance. They want a response? We'll give them a response. Primal Chaos City leader smiled. Luo Feng smiled, too. Teacher, it could get better. We'll let them choose whether they want to help us or the Alliance, said Primal Chaos City leader. He had been hesitant before. After all, if they actually retreated back to the primal universe, the human race would develop much more slowly in the future. It was a tough choice to make. Even though Luo Feng's plan sounded crazy, it was achievable in the original universe. They had tested it with the 100 Universe Masters, and they had talked about it with Teacher Origin and other Universe Masters from the human race. Everyone had agreed with the new plan in the end. They would fight to the end. Ancestral God Secret Region, inside Ancestral God Palace. 3 Ancestral Gods, 8 Beast Gods, Guarding Beast Gods, and Guarding Godly Masters had gathered. None of them belonged to the human team, the United Forces Alliance, or the Freedom Alliance. Instead, they all belonged to the Ancestral God School, and almost everyone was a special life form. Everyone. 3 ancestral gods sat in the thrones in the palace. The one in the middle had a ferocious beast head, and his hair, each strand as thick as a finger, drooped. His eyes were green, and he said, "The humans gave us a response." The Universe Masters, including 9 Remoteness Master, were all looking forward to the response. The response is simple. They'll only give us the guide to become Universe Supreme Masters. That's the only price they are willing to pay. All the Universe Masters were shocked that the humans were still so stubborn even in a situation as difficult as this. "We had 2 requirements," said a giant fish with a black body. "The first one is the inheritance on how Universe Masters can become Universe Supreme Masters. The second is how to reach the limit of Universe Supreme Masters." The humans don't agree to the second one? "Ancestral gods," said 9 Remoteness Master. The humans only agreed to the first one? With no further negotiations? "That is their bottom line," said the Central Ancestral God. Everyone grew quiet. "Decide whether we're joining the humans or not," said the Central Ancestral God. On the same day, an island floated on the golden waves. On the island, more than 400 Universe Masters sat on thrones. The beings who had gathered were all powerful, and space and time twisted around them as they gathered. This was the first power of the original universe, the Freedom Alliance. They were waiting for humans' response as well. The representative from the human race had just left. The response was very straightforward. "We're willing to give you the inheritance about how to advance from Universe Masters to Universe Supreme Masters, and this is the best we can offer. There should be no more negotiation." This was the only response. And it was up to the Freedom Alliance to decide whether they were going to join the humans or not. This video will end here.